listening to Retro Station, a retro game podcast.
Human sacrifice, retro and modern games living together, mass hysteria.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Retro Station, a retro game podcast. I'm Count Dracula.
I'm Cheshire Cat.
And I'm Charizard.
And today we're going to be talking about Ghostbusters, the video game on the PSP. But before we get to that, have you guys had a chance to play anything else? It's been kind of quick turnaround with this episode.
Yeah, I have not.
You have not.
I can't see if you're looking at me.
I am now.
Okay.
Okay.
It was a pretty quick turnaround. I've got some hours into the current game, but I also played a bit of Final Fantasy Tactics. Got like maybe one more level in,
Nice.
one more story level.
Okay.
Whatever you want to call it.
Right on. Is it getting tougher, noticeably?
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah. This level took me, I think, 2 tries to do it. Mainly because you had to save somebody.
Okay.
And depending on where you moved your people, apparently he felt braver. So it took me a second to figure that out. And he would just run off and die. And
So him being brave is bad, right?
Correct.
Because he's going to go do something stupid.
Yeah, he has a gun. He doesn't need to be running into the fray.
Yeah, stay where you are. Just,
Yeah. In a game with, like, monks punching and knights having swords, you have a gun, and you don't need to get that close.
Yeah, I feel like
he's
he's kind of king of the hill in that scenario.
Yeah, he, like, moves first, and he, like, moves up on top of, like, a ruined building. But then he doesn't want to stay there. Depending on where you move, if you don't move aggressively up, he'll come back to you. But if you do move aggressively up, then he'll, like, run to the middle of the enemy area. And it's like, come on, man. I can't. And it's like out of my healer's reach if he's like, because there's like, you come in and you see him on a wall yelling at people. And so you're like, we'll save you. And then he runs to the other side of the wall, and you're like, hold up, dude.
Come back!
Yeah.
It sounds like an escort mission, but like somehow worse because he's already amongst the bad guys, and like he might just start popping off on his own. Like, God damn it, that's
Like,
frustrating.
Because my chemist who like throws items has to be able to see you to throw them.
Right.
Yeah.
Because we're doing Ghostbusters, I was thinking back to other Ghostbusters games I played. I played one on the Apple IIe. That was also on the Nintendo, which is... I don't know if the Nintendo port is bad or if the original game was bad. When I was a kid, it seemed okay. I don't imagine it aged really well. And I also played one on the Game Boy, which I think was Ghostbusters 2. And that was okay. But the one I remembered actually being good wasn't one I owned, but it was Ghostbusters on the Sega Genesis. So I decided to play into that a little bit. And it's pretty cool. It's kind of like a run and gun game. Like you're going sideways and jumping around, and really your weapon is like it's more like you're shooting like a little blast, like you're not doing like a proton beam or whatever. And you have some kind of grenade, which I'm sure has some appropriate ghosty sounding name when you look in the instructions, but not there, it doesn't. And of course all your enemies are ghosts of some kind. Other than that, like gameplay wise, it could pretty much be anything. Like you could pick everyone but Winston, which is kind of messed up to play as. And they have like different stats depending. Like Peter is just kind of average on everything, and then one of them's faster and the other one's stronger or something. But the only time it really gets Ghostbusters-y, like in the gameplay, is when you fight a boss. When you beat him, he'll become just like a little normal ghost that just flies back and forth at the top of the screen. And then you put down a trap and you have like your proton whatever beam, and you can shoot him and pull him in, but I haven't figured out how to successfully pull him in yet. And if you try a couple times and you fail, he runs away, and I don't know what that means for me long term. I don't know if that is like... Because I haven't looked up to see if there's multiple endings or anything. I don't know if that's a bad ending or if it makes other things harder or whatever, but that's really the only spot where, like, okay, this is very much like the gameplay feels Ghostbusters-y. But, I mean, it's still a fun game, though. You know, back in the day, I don't imagine they're going to be doing crazy stuff with like beam weapons that can go all over the place. So for that era, because it was early Genesis too, yeah, it's still pretty fun game. And there were so many times where I just like barely whipped around and like shot a ghost before it hit me, and that was fun because I was like, oh man, I'm actually pretty good at this. And then I started just like getting hit by everything all of a sudden, so I was not good at it anymore. I got too confident, or something. I was like the guy in your game. I got too brave, and now everyone's kicking my butt.
Yeah.
And I have a gun. I don't know. But it was fun. And I think I picked, because at first, I don't know if you can only pick 2 levels, but I think I was supposed to go to like this little house, and instead I went to an apartment building, which was like a higher difficulty level, so that probably didn't help things either. But yeah, it was pretty fun, and I just kind of wanted to try one of the older ones, and that one I thought might have aged the best of the ones I've played. And yeah, so still a good time. I don't know about the other 2. But that's really it. That's all I played. So, I guess news, yeah?
Yeah.
Hilary, are you loaded with news information?
No.
All right. Cool.
I've been busy. I
know.
don't have time to.
Yeah. Recording this closer than usual to our previous recording, so we haven't had as much time to get
I also, I sell at shows, and I just did a show this last weekend, and I have a really big convention coming up, and a show the weekend after that. So I'm very busy making things.
Yeah. Indeed. What about you, Steve?
Well, and then I was, to also explain the short turnaround, I was on that week-long trip.
Yeah.
Of course. And the version of this game that I downloaded did not work on my Steam Deck, but I only found that out when I was on the plane. So I had to come back, download a different version, and cram some hours into it. Yeah. But I do have a little news. Watching some information in regards to the new Pokemon ZA game. Of course, that's coming out in a couple of days, so this will be very old news. But the more I personally hear about it, the less it kind of interests me. But I do think it could be a fun game. I don't know. Did either of you play Arceus? I can't remember.
I didn't. I've seen it.
I tried it for our girls have it, and so I tried it a little bit, but I didn't play it for very long. So
yeah,
I
remember when Arceus first came out, everyone was very much like, oh, the next step could be like an MMO, Pokemon MMO, and I think that's still kind of what everyone's waiting for. But I did find out that you are only in the town, in that city. And it is the city from X and Y. So, from previous games, except they expanded it a little more. And you can go on top of buildings with your, Rotom phone. It, helps you float and teleport. They kind of said it's going to be similar to, it's going to be the Z that never was on the Y and Z. Because, I forget his name, Zygarde? The dog that has cells. I think it's Zygarde.
Yeah, I think so. It's something very close to that, but it's not that.
Yeah, so he was in the previews that I've seen, and so he's going to be kind of a main part of this game. It said, of course this is what it's saying on the Googles, based on the size of the map, if you look in comparison to Legends of Arceus, which was huge. It had multiple areas and multiple loading screens. Mm-hmm. This will be roughly 1/3 to 1/4 of that size.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah. And there's going to be no loading screens throughout the map, except for apparently if you go inside somewhere. There will be unlockable areas because you wonder, oh, I'm in a city. Where are the Pokemon going to be?
Right.
Well, there's going to be areas that are normal parks, and then they will become unlockable almost like routes.
Okay.
And they have these weird holographic gates so that you know that you're in them.
Okay.
And then the Pokemon will be there. So they'll be you go to a sandy part and they have ground Pokemon, or you go to a grassy area and on the gates it'll say suggested level to be there.
Oh, interesting.
And they said it wouldn't take that long to explore the whole city. So I don't know. For me, it seems a little sad because I know that with Scarlet and Violet, the place is pretty huge.
Yeah.
And mind you, you don't get like I don't know what they're called, almost like HMs where you can fly and all that stuff. You don't get those right away. You have to do certain things to get them.
Okay.
And maybe they'll be like this, but I don't know. The smaller the area, it just doesn't seem like it would be cool exploring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there are what appears to be different factions in the game. So there might not be gym leaders, but there's like rank challenges. So after you beat a few trainers, you can take a rank challenge. So no official gym leaders.
It kind of sounds similar to the storyline that they did in the Pokemon Journey anime with Ash, because they ended up having it like basically like they had rank battles, and so like as he was battling people, when he won, his ranking would go up. And so like then they have like the Elite 8 that he ended up being part of. So
gotcha. And then what else did I find out? Oh, there's also like battle zones as well. That'll be behind a different holographic area. Something that did seem cool is there is like a sight gauge. So whereas in Pokemon like Scarlet and Violet, you could avoid most trainer battles if you wanted to. These ones, if they focus on you, you'll see like your little gauge go off and then it'll start a battle. You can also sneak up on Pokemon trainers, and if your Pokemon attacks them with a move and surprises them, then like I mentioned in the last episode, there's cooldowns for your things, but the surprise attack, it doesn't count as one of your attacks.
Okay.
So if you're got like a super powerful move, you can double tap them almost. So that seems interesting, but I don't know. I'd have to see more gameplay to see if that's something that's going to be me or not. They did show some human versus human battles.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And it's interesting that they put like a battle system in it. I'm not sure if Pokemon Arceus had a battle system, because I know that a lot of the professional battlers, the people who go to like world championships and stuff, they use like the mainline games to play.
yeah.
Because they're more straightforward. This one was like there were 4 trainers with Pokemon and it was like real-time fighting. So it seems interesting, but I doubt they'll make like actual tournaments out of that, because it seems like you can kind of gang up on people.
Yeah.
and stuff. You don't control your Pokemon per se, but you can run around in real time and they'll slightly follow you. So you can actually make them dodge attacks. So like if there is a like if you use, I don't know, tackle, let's say, the Pokemon actually has to go up to the other Pokemon and touch them. Whereas if you use like flamethrower, you'd shoot like a flamethrower out. So that seems pretty cool. You can kind of cheat the system. So if you see like a big move happen, you can return them to the ball and switch them out. If you bring a new one out, it does have like a summoning sickness or stun time. So where they are more vulnerable to getting hit, but you can also at the same time cheese that a little bit.
Right.
So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what comes out. It'll be interesting to see how the graphics, I mean, the video looked good as far as the graphics, but we know Game Freak and Pokemon, so I think that was it. And of course, this will be like 2 weeks after it came out.
Right.
Yeah.
So you'll be like, no, that's not how it plays. I know. We didn't play it. We couldn't. All right, so I had a couple pieces of news. So Blizzard is teaming up with Archon Studios to make, they're going to have board games based on StarCraft in 2027, but in 2026, they're going to have a miniatures game based on StarCraft. And that's interesting. Anytime I hear about one of these miniatures games, I always hope it does well. I think this one has a unique problem in a way, because more so with regular Warcraft or with Warcraft, but StarCraft 2, I'm going to say pulls a lot of inspiration from Games Workshop stuff. You know, the Terrans look very Space Marine-y. the Zerg are very Tyranid. I don't know if the Protoss or Protoss. Protoss. I don't know if they are like anything in Warhammer 40K.
I think they're like Eldar or Tau, aren't they?
Yeah, maybe. I don't remember very well, but like the original, like Warcraft originally was going to be a Warhammer game, but then that deal didn't go through, and they're like, well, we're just gonna keep doing what we're doing anyway, and so there's some similarities there. So in my point of view, and we know nothing about gameplay, so I am just kind of going fully off speculation, they have to do something to really differentiate it from Warhammer 40K, because for one thing, you only have 3 factions, which is not huge. I don't know if they have freedom or if they will create more factions that have not been in the games, but I don't know if they do like a full-on like army scale game, if that's really gonna be able to compete, or if it maybe it doesn't need to. I don't know, but I can't see that competing with Warhammer 40K, just because I think the people who are excited because it's StarCraft can just as easily just play StarCraft, and the people who like miniatures games specifically, if I was just looking at these from afar, assuming again that they're going for a similar type of game, which again we don't know, I would be more excited about Warhammer 40K just because there's so many more options for armies that you could pick. So I don't know. I hope it's good. I hope it does well. I hope it's different, but time's going to tell. I just think it's a weird situation for them because they do come from a game that pulled a lot of inspiration from a already existing miniatures game.
Yeah. I did hear a lot about this. That's why when you talked about it as like the miniature game or the board game, yeah, I've heard a lot about it, but it's been such a long time that I don't recall exactly what it was going to be. But I know that they were talking about doing miniatures and stuff. Me personally, as a miniature war gamer, and I know you both are miniature war gamers, but you don't play
I'm really
that often
a miniature
anymore.
war buyer and builder and sometimes painter, and then once every like 2 years
like
I play.
A hobbyist, not a player.
Yeah, like I'll play the game, but it'll be so long since the last time I played it, I don't remember the rules.
Yeah.
I'm good at this.
But to me, you have like some of the big main ones, and the big main ones are really controlled by Games Workshop.
Yeah.
And then the other ones you have like Steamforged Games / Privateer Press with War Machine and Hordes, which is making a slight comeback. It was big. It was huge, especially in our area because it was in our backyard,
Right.
pretty much, up in Bellevue. And I got hooked onto that for a while, but then things happened and decisions were made and it kind of crumbled, but now it seems to be slightly on the rise again.
Yeah.
There's also, ironically, from Privateer Press, probably part of that crumble, there was a shoot off of Marvel Crisis Protocol, which is pretty big.
Yeah.
And then they also have Star Wars Legion, I think. I'm not exactly sure there, but the same company that does Marvel Crisis Protocol has a Star Wars game.
Yeah.
Which is kind of army-wide. The issue, of course, with me, the way I choose my games, because I personally love fantasy-type games. Mm-hmm. I did enjoy Marvel Crisis Protocol. However, when I want to go play a game, my time is so limited that I need to know that other people are playing this game.
Yeah, makes sense.
And Warhammer 40,000 is just, you can find anybody, any time of the day, and you'll play a game.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, if it's a game store that has miniatures, like you can get a game of 40K.
Right. But I mean, I had setups at my house. Yeah. People have setups at their house, you know.
Yeah.
It's huge. I mean, LVO just happened, Las Vegas Open just happened a few days ago, and there's close to like 600 people there.
Right.
Yeah. And that was their second one because they changed. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like, I think region makes a huge difference in that too. Like, Warhammer is going to be popular, I think, kind of in almost all regions, but like, I feel like Marvel didn't have a huge following in this region, but I know in other parts of the country it does. So I don't know specifically why certain regions seem to be games hit better than others, but
yeah, I think it's the people in the store pushing it, like whether it's customers or employees. Like if they are really pushing for that, someone who has those kind of social skills can build up a community. I could not do that. I'm lucky if I can get
This is a
people.
guy who used to work at you.
I know. I should. That was a dark time.
But yeah. Well, I mean, I know that if I wanted a game, I could probably find a game of my Marvel Crisis Protocol because there are some addicts out there, and I know of two communities in the area. But I don't know. Star Wars miniature game will sell. Yes. I know it will. Will it be played? It depends on the rules.
Yeah. The tough thing too is that, I was talking about them making their game different significantly, but I don't even know. It's still tough because, like, back when I worked at Games Workshop, they were like, "Oh, we're never doing specialist games again. We're doing Warhammer and Warhammer 40K and Lord of the Rings. We're not doing Necromunda, Blood Bowl, Mordheim, all that stuff." And they are all back. So even if it comes down to like a skirmish level game or a campaign style game, a league kind of game, those are all represented now. So like, I don't even know what they can do to differentiate themselves other than being like, hey, we're StarCraft, which I understand is a big IP. Like, I get that, but like, I don't know. I hope it's good. I hope it's good, and I hope people love it. Whether I don't know that I'll go for it, but if it's great, then awesome. But it's going to be a tough.
It's curious because I mean, Warhammer was the miniature game first, and then it spread out to like video games. But this is a video game first, and so I'm curious if they're gonna like try to make it like the video game, or whatnot.
It'll be interesting to see.
And if they're gonna be unpainted, unassembled miniatures, or what it's gonna be.
I bet they'll be unpainted, but unassembled. It depends on what demographic they want, the hobbyist, or they want like just people to throw down casually or whatever.
Yeah.
I think
like you said, skirmish versus massive army. It's going to depend on what you need to purchase and stuff.
Yeah. I think what they should do, except for they're not planning to already, is bring out like a board game along at the same time and have it use the same models, and you have a good like whatever is supposed to come in that board game. You have that to start with, and then people who like the miniatures game will still buy the miniatures game. People who like the board game will have some miniatures and might look over at the miniatures game and be like, "Oh, that's kind of cool because they can have like big, vehicles or whatever, and I can't do this in this board game because that would be silly." Maybe they could start, getting some crossover between the groups. I don't know. Like, I think that would be not a bad idea. But since this is coming in 26 and the board games are supposedly not coming until 27, I don't know if that's gonna do it. I don't know. It's hard to say when there's like they're just really announcing it. There's not a ton of information, so time's gonna tell. But I'm not excited, but I think it's an interesting thing.
I hope they're unpainted.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Then you can say you must paint additional pylons.
Just so you could say that.
Yeah.
That sounds reasonable to me. Yep. So anyway, there's that. So, hopefully that excites some of you. The other bit of news is more on a personal level. I've made two terrible mistakes, but really it's one terrible mistake, but I made it twice. And it may not be terrible, but it could be. I downloaded two things. I downloaded Blue Protocol Star Resonance, which is an very anime MMO, but it's free to play. And I downloaded Elder Scrolls Online, which is an MMO, which has a lot of free to play content. And usually the game costs, I don't know, $20, but I got it for $3. So I was like, well, okay, I can do this and just dip in and out and do like the solo content because they have some.
Do you need a friend?
Do I need a friend? I mean, technically not if I'm playing solo, but these things can be big time sucks, and I'm not trying to get into that. But they both are supposed to have good content that you can hop in and out of. So if I play it like a normal game, I'm good. But otherwise, every new section I'm going to be like, or game we played, I'll be like, I was playing Elder Scrolls Online, and it was whatever.
Yeah, who would do that?
Yeah.
See the first 6 episodes I played this game.
Even though I love Elder Scrolls games, I wasn't interested in that Elder Scrolls Online for a long time, because to me, like, those games always feel like a very just solo, like, solitary experience. Even when you have like a follower traveling along with you, it's AI and whatever, and they don't talk constantly, and everyone else will say something that's very much in game, and I like that about it. And I didn't want people to be like running by me being like, 8th level, whatever, looking for group. Like no. That like ruins the immersion for me. And so I didn't want that, but I figure $3 and I just stick to the free to play content. It's probably worth trying. Maybe it's not that obnoxious. We'll see. And if not, if I hate it, I'll just uninstall it. Not that big a deal. But yeah, I don't want to get like sucked in, like truly sucked into any MMOs. And I kept thinking like, I could go back and play Anarchy Online. That's still going. I could go back and play EverQuest. That's going in like 18 different ways. And I realized like those are especially brutal time sucks. Because I think both of them, when you die, you have to go run and find your corpse so you can get your items off it. Otherwise they go away after a certain amount of time. And so you might have wanted to stop playing, but then you die. And now you have to go get your stuff because if you leave it for too long, it all just goes away. And you were tired for that stuff. And, I didn't want to do that. So I hope these are not like that. And
what are they for?
PC, but I think...
do you play them on Steam, though?
Yes. Blue Protocol is actually on more stuff. I think it's on Android as well. And it was the Star Resonance part. That used to be an MMO that released only in Japan and did not do well. But that IP got bought by another company, and so they dramatically changed everything. So I've heard good things about it. So
you said it was free? No.
Blue Protocol is free. Yes.
Might check it out.
It has some things that you can pay for in game, but so far it sounds like it's all just like clothing, like not like nothing to do with gameplay stats or anything. Just like,
gotcha.
Do you want your person to have a green sword instead of I don't know. I don't even know what they are, but which I mean, granted, in a game full of anime people, I bet a lot of people are going to just have the money for like make their character look just right. But nonetheless,
I mean, I've dropped a lot of time in MMOs and they are fun.
Yeah, they are, and very addictive.
Did you ever play Final Fantasy 11?
I did not.
Oh man, that was hilarious. I was a Galka.
Okay.
Which I don't know if they were in many other.
Doesn't sound familiar.
So it was a race, and it was like a big, giant, fuzzy, I guess, like gorilla or ape-like thing.
Okay.
And it was a very physical, because all the races had different stats. So if you were human, you were average on everything. If you were elfish, you were slightly above average on some things that a human would be, but then less on others, like probably like defense and stuff like that.
Right.
Then you had Galka, which was very physically potent. And then you had like, oh God, what were they? You had like a cat person that you would pick if you were weird into that kink. And then
if you're a furry.
yeah. But they were like all speed. And then you had like, I want to call them like Moogle type things, but they were more human-like than a Moogle.
I think I remember seeing pictures of those.
Yeah, and those were the magical beings. Well, one of the things that was a joke in our community was Galka monk looking for a group because nobody wanted one. But you had to go through monk to get to your other like builds that people wanted because it was very much like a job class. So you'd have your main job and then your sub job. You could have like half the amount of levels you were allowed in that job. So I spent many a days looking for a group that if I wasn't, if my friends weren't online. But then I found people were always looking for white mages. Oh. So I got big into the crafting, and I would craft my own food items so I could make pies that would refill my my MP. And then people could actually hire mages to help them level up faster. So because they wouldn't be in your group, but you could still target them.
Oh, okay.
And I got pretty good with like the micros and macros and stuff in that game. So everyone, if you were a white mage, people would reach out to you.
Yeah. I think any healer, right?
Any healer. People would be reaching out to you.
Yeah.
So I changed, but you had to pay per character that you had. It was not like you just paid an online fee and then you can do whatever. Some
That's
games.
rough, yeah.
Yeah, so you had to pay per character. And so I was a Galka white mage, black mage, and ironically the special outfit for the Galka was all like MP based, but it looked like, I don't know, it was like thin suspenders and underwear and stuff. So I'd like have all the good materials and I'd be really good at making pies and stuff like that. And I was a good white mage, but if I could see the people's faces behind the screen when I would like shamble up this big guy. Oh, I'm your white mage.
Love it. That's awesome. I like it when you can be a character that's against like how they look. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. That's great.
I was a white mage that could take a hit.
That's important. That's really good.
Yeah.
Like you need to be able to, because you get stomped when you're healing people. That doesn't help.
Yeah.
I looked at 14, but that one I think has a much bigger upfront cost to pay than.
Well, I think you can get the first like 70 levels for free or something.
Oh, really?
Ridiculous.
Yeah. Either way,
I don't know. I'd really need someone to play with. That's why I was like, oh, you're looking into it. Maybe.
Yeah. I mean, the nice thing about games, any of these games now, is they're a little easier to figure out than the older games were. You know what I mean? Like, like EverQuest, I don't think there was a map, and like you had to find somebody who could like show you things. And when I played Anarchy Online, like good luck with the crafting if you don't find someone who knows how to do it. And like it'll walk you through all the pieces you need to make a super whatever gun you need. Like I think nowadays they're a little more newbie friendly in general. So
well, I think they have like tutorials and stuff.
Yeah, definitely. So anyway, this could be a terrible mistake, but I'm not trying to play it like most of play an MMO. So we'll see what happens.
Oh, God, now I'm just reminiscing, man. Final Fantasy 11, when you hit a certain. Like, when you hit certain levels, there were different, like, farming areas. Right? Like in most MMOs.
Yeah.
Well, one of the farming areas was you had to take this boat that took real time to get across a place. And if you were lower level, because everyone is using this boat to get to different places, right?
Right.
You would stay underneath the ship because you could actually lure and pull things from on top of the ship. But then when you got to this jungle area, there was like a wall. And like once you passed that wall, you were in wild area. You actually had to hire higher level people, and you'd get on chocobos and you'd have to run through the higher level as you're pulling freaking monsters running behind you. And because for some reason your area as the lower level was like super far into the higher area. It didn't make any sense.
Honestly,
I don't know.
I was thinking about that today with MMOs. Like one of my actual favorite things is when you want to go to this area that's like over here, but to get there, you have to go through this area that you are not ready for.
Right.
Like I actually,
that's exactly what it was.
I actually love that. Trying to like weave between like the creatures so like they don't go aggro on you, or like with my my necromancer in EverQuest, any like goodly town I went into, I was like kill on sight because I was a necromancer until I like built up faction points to them and they liked me. So like I had to have an invisibility spell or just freaking book it through the whole town because they'd have like whatever town I was in had like an elemental that would be chasing after me. And I was not ready to fight an elemental. And if I did, probably like town guards would show up too. So, and also what is it with these games where like the NPCs are way tougher than any of the adventurers? Like you actually hit an NPC and you're dead. Like why are they not out there dealing with the problems? I don't understand. Shopkeeper, get out there.
Well, he would be an adventurer like you if he didn't take an arrow to the knee.
That's true. Very nice. All right, that's all the news I have. Unless we keep talking about MMO experiences, but I don't think that's probably what we're gonna do. No. So, all right. So, yeah, game of the week,
Yes.
Ghostbusters the video game.
Yes. So we played Ghostbusters the video game for our Halloween episode. So this game was released in 2009. It's an action-adventure game based off of the Ghostbusters media franchise, and this game takes place in 1991, which is 2 years after Ghostbusters 2 movie. Dan Aykroyd has been quoted as saying that this game is what Ghostbusters 3 would have been, and there's a few things that kind of go with that a little bit later. It was released by 2 different developers depending on the system that you got it for. So Terminal Reality was the developer for Windows, PlayStation 3, and the Xbox 360 version, where Red Fly Studio was the developer for PlayStation 2, PSP, and the Wii. In North America, all of them were published by Atari Interactive. I know in Europe it was published by a couple different companies depending on what system it was for. So the gameplay is basically a third-person shooter, but instead of a gun, you have your proton pack. You play as a new recruit to the Ghostbusters team, learning and capturing ghosts alongside the original 4 Ghostbusters, who are voiced by all the original actors.
Oh, I was wondering. I knew Dan Aykroyd sounded like Dan Aykroyd, but I wasn't sure about the other people.
Yeah,
Bill Murray sounds like Bill Murray.
Yeah, so, and even some of the other actors from, like, the first movie lent their voices to Simon, including Sigourney Weaver.
Oh, wow. That's cool. Well,
She wasn't, they approached her and she wasn't going to do it, but then when she found out that Dan Aykroyd was actually leading a lot of it, she signed up. So.
Oh, that's cool.
It was also Harold Ramsey's last portray as Egon before he died in 2014. And so the remastered version that came out in 2019 was dedicated to him.
Oh, wow. I didn't realize that.
Him and Aykroyd were actually the writers of the first 2 films, and they actually helped write the script for this video game, which is part of the reason why Dan Aykroyd is like, yes, this is basically the 3rd movie. And then along with the voice actors coming back, the video game also has some characters that were in the first movie that are in this game that you get to try to capture or fight. In addition to firing the proton packs at the ghosts, you use other ghost hunting materials such as the KPE meter and goggles. And then there's also upgrades that you get as you're playing the game, too. The health system and weapon status in this game is different than what you would normally see in a third-person shooter. It's actually displayed as meters on your proton pack. Proton pack. So you can faint or get knocked down in this game, but if you're one of the other Ghostbusters is around, they can revive you. And likewise, if one of the Ghostbusters gets knocked down, your character can go and revive them. One of the things with this, you are playing as a rookie. You can choose to be a boy or a girl. A note, if you are playing as the girl, there's a few nicknames that they call you throughout the game besides just rookie. But if you're playing as the girl, Peter will often refer to you as Barbie. So if that's triggering to you, you might want to play as the boy.
Suits the character, though.
Yeah, it does.
So, yeah.
But, I know that some people there's some people out there that can be triggering for. So just a warning. There are some slight differences in the gameplay, but based on the system/developer that made them. Some of the examples was that there are slight differences in the campaigns, but the overall storyline is mostly the same. And then, like, for the PlayStation 2 and the PSP version, there's a way to slam the ghosts. So when you have them caught in the ray, like, they'll, like, kind of, it's almost like a Simon Says, where they'll, like, tell you to move to the right or to the left or up or down. It kind of does a little bit more damage to the ghosts, but that's not available in the other versions.
Oh.
And then the DS version, there's actually a version for the DS as well, and that version is even more different, where you're actually not playing as a rookie. It's more of a squad-based tactical system game where you control the 4 original Ghostbusters. And the last little bit I have to talk about it before we get into it is some of the ratings that this game got. Because it was across so many different systems and there was different developers, there was different ratings based off of the different systems. Overall, it got pretty much 7.5 to 8.5. What Greg Miller from IGN described it as a love letter to Ghostbuster fans and makes you feel like you're an actual Ghostbusters. And he gave it an 8 out of 10.
I will go talk about the How Long to Beat.
Yeah.
So it says the main story is about 8 hours. The main plus extra is 10 hours. And completionist is quite a bit of time, 21 and a half hours.
I must be getting that because there's like little like picture things you can get, and then you're supposed to scan ghosts that match them, and then that'll fill up your Tobin spirit guide. I'm guessing if you get all those, that must be what you're going for.
Yeah.
I would imagine.
Probably scanning every single thing. I mean, you could scan the humans in that game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
May have been a rookie, but I felt like I was doing all the work.
Yeah. They kind of were like, hey, why don't you go out and do this? Like, hey, I know that's safe off Marshall Man. He's gigantic, but let's hang you off the building and you can shoot him. Jesus Christ.
One other thing that I was going to mention is kind of the overall plot of the game is that there's a power emitted from the Gozer exhibit at the Museum of Natural History that starts off the chaos of the ghosts.
This, because I'd heard that about they consider this the third movie thing, and I find that kind of, I think it works really well as a game, because at least I'm not quite halfway through, but I'm approaching that, and it's a lot of stuff from especially the first movie that you've kind of seen, like the librarian ghost is there, Stay Puft Marshmallow Man's there, so it's a lot of stuff that like Slimer's there, yeah. So like those things that you've seen before. So I wonder if that would work as well in a movie or not. But I'm enjoying it because I feel like I like that kind of callback to the original films, because I don't know about you guys, I was like a massive fan of like the first two Ghostbuster movies, like super into them. So
I can't remember which one was which, but the one where they had to put the guy back in the painting, that one always scared the crap out of me.
Yeah. That painting's like downstairs in the firehouse too. I don't know if you went down there.
Oh, I don't know.
You didn't have to. But I was like, oh, what's down here? I was trying to find those little picture things, and sure enough, that painting's down there, looking all creepy. But
I heard you guys learned a new language.
We did.
Yes.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Sprechen Sie Deutsch?
Yeah, we got to do full disclosure here. So, I ended up playing the PS2 version. I did try the PSP version. The problem was I tried about 3 or 4 ROMs from different places that all said they were the USA versions, but the cutscenes were in German on all of them. That was not the case with the PS2 version, but they're basically the same game. There might be like slight difference in the graphic quality. I don't know.
Yeah,
but,
like it was the same developer, so those two were like the most similar. Yeah. I played the PSP version because when I started playing it, I was like I wasn't sure if they were actually talking in a different language or if it's just like kind of like Sims gibberish. But I thought it was I thought it was an actual language because they were saying their names, but I wasn't sure what language they were speaking. And by the time we realized that it was that way for all the PSP ROMs but the PS2 worked, like I was so far into the game that I didn't want to restart. So I'm just like, I did spend today watching kind of a playthrough so that I could get some of the cutscenes that I missed. But
what was interesting is you had mentioned also that it was just the cutscenes, because the instructions and when they were walking around talking, it was in English.
Yes.
So bizarre. I mean, I know like a lot of other people in other countries, a lot of them do know English, but it seems strange that it wouldn't just be one language.
Yeah.
Like that's very odd to me, but I don't know. I'm sure there's a reason for this. I tried to find out, and it could be something where it's like really the European version. And there's a lot of languages in Europe, and it might be, trained to look at what version you have, but it always says German. I don't know. It didn't make sense to me. So I'm like, whatever. I'm just going to play the PS2 one. This is a mess. Because I wanted to hear the plot. I wanted to hear what was going on, because if it's supposed to be like a third movie, I wanted to get an idea of what that was like.
Yeah. And then I could not get the PSP version to work for me. I don't know why. Because I swear I played War of the Lions a little bit on my Steam Deck. However, for some reason, this just wasn't working. So I played the PS2 version.
Right on. I mean, there's lots of different file types for those ROMs, so it could be just like a weird one that whatever emulator you have isn't picking up or something. I don't know. Or some kind of weird, bizarre compatibility issue that is just a bizarre case. But one thing to note, though, if you're playing on the PSP, if you're familiar with that system, it has one control stick on the left-hand side. It doesn't have 2. And this, it's a third-person shooter, but it controls like a first-person shooter. And so the way to aim is you have to use the face button, select left, right, up, down, or diagonal by pressing 2. I think the ghosts move too fast in this game to be doing that, personally.
ghost moved too fast just to do the
I know.
So anyway,
If you're emulating, like what we did is I went in and I told it that like up on the thumbstick was the top button and left was like the left button, and so you're able to do the look around, but you wouldn't be able to do that on an actual PSP system. You'd be stuck with the buttons controlling your look around. I can't even imagine. I mean, it has some aim assist, but it's not. It's not like you shoot in totally wrong direction and it's going to hit the ghost. Like, you got to be at least in the vicinity. So,
right.
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't have aim assist for scanning them. They were like, scan, in the tutorial, they're like, scan this ghost. And I'm like, hold still.
Yeah.
I had to like go to one side of the screen and hope that it was coming straight at me, because you don't just push scan on it. You had to like fill a meter before it would do that. I'm like, I'm going to do this tutorial and I'm never going to scan a ghost again.
Yeah, there were some I got if they were like, like slower or lumbering, but if it was like flying around too much, if I couldn't figure out a spot where he would like, a ghost would like be for a little bit, I'm like, nah, like I can't. This is going to take me forever. It's just going to frustrate me. I'm just going to let it go this time. It's fine. Oh, jeez.
Yeah, I did feel like, I don't know, I've played a lot of two-stick games where aiming, like Fallout 4 and Skyrim and all sorts of stuff, but it was tough to catch some of those ghosts.
Yeah, they're very quick, and I think when you hit them with your proton beam, I think it slows them down just a smidge, but like they're still moving. So I mean, if you don't follow them exactly right, they're gonna get out of your beams thing. But I mean, you're hurting them a little bit over time, I guess, until they're so low that you can actually hold them in place with your beam.
And one important note that I'm very glad is that you don't have to worry about not crossing streams.
Yeah. Can you imagine? Because everybody's shooting all over the place. If you had to worry about crossing the streams like that, forget it. Like, this game would be impossible unless the other people all chilled out with which they might as well, because you're doing all the work. But
Now, which came first, this game or Luigi's Mansion? Because someone has a lawsuit on.
That's a great question.
Yeah. I would imagine Luigi Mansion.
Because you are shooting a beam out and holding a ghost in place, and then you are whipping them around. Very much Luigi's Mansion.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, because of the short turnaround, Vinny did not get to play this, but I'm probably going to show him this game afterwards anyways, because he loves Luigi's Mansion.
Right. So Luigi's Mansion came out September 14th, 2001. Do you remember what the release date was for this?
So the release date was 2009, and they started developing it in 2006. So
Okay, so quite a bit after. But you could argue that Luigi's Mansion took the entire basic idea from the Ghostbusters movie. But Nintendo could say, I'm sorry, we patented ghosts. So, no matter what you're doing with them, they're ours. Sorry, sucker. So who knows?
But I mean, but Luigi's Mansion as a system of having the backpack and the ghost sucker would have been post the movie.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So, it's interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. Yeah, there are definitely some. It's funny because I think you were always joking, like, is it like Luigi's Mansion? And I was like, no. Yeah, there's some definite, some. I mean, Luigi's Mansion is arguably more of a side scroller, I guess. I mean, you can.
In the tutorial, you're literally going through a mansion or a hotel.
yeah.
And you have to rescue Mario.
And you're going up
really
elevators, and you're.
Yeah.
You're destroying furniture that's in the way.
I love destroying the furniture.
Sometimes the ghosts go into the furniture, which was rough. Catching, like, I only made it a little past the tutorial, but chasing Slimer down, man.
He's a fast little bastard.
Yeah.
One thing I don't know, I meant to look up and see if this mattered for anything. At the end of each level, it will give you, it'll tell you how much the government has spent paying for the damage you cause, and then give you some kind of like a ranking, like like vandal or like sharpshooter or whatever. I don't know if that matters for anything later in the game.
Is it like golf? Like you're trying to get the lowest number?
You would think so. I don't know, but like there was one where at least
I destroyed that ballroom.
I can't remember what word it gave me, but like it was when I was in the library, and I think I destroyed every book in that library just because it was fun, and it still gave me whatever the word was still sounded positive. So I'm like, well, I don't know. I guess this is good. Who knows?
It is funny how like when the concierge or whoever the guy was in the hotel was like freaking out. First of all,
interrupt the Rodriguez bar mitzvah.
Yeah. And so, but I think that's where Slimer was originally.
Yeah.
And he went back. And it's funny because he's pissed that happened. But it's the characters, the actual Ghostbusters keep reassuring him like, oh, it's okay. It's on the city's dime. And, and like, you can destroy whatever you want and the city will pay for it and all this stuff. I'm like, I don't know how that works, but
well,
okay.
And that part of the plot, you probably didn't get to it, but is that I can't remember his name now, but it's basically the Ghostbusters arch nemesis.
Peck.
Yeah,
Peck.
Peck. The mayor puts him like in charge of overseeing them. So Peck is like, great, I'll just get rid of the Ghostbusters, and the mayor's like, no, if you get rid of the Ghostbusters, you don't have a job. So like he made it so that Peck and the Ghostbusters have to work together to like try and like, I don't know, balance budget or something.
Yeah, I just wonder, like, I should have looked into it if there's like different endings based on like if you kept property intact or if you destroyed it. I mean, there's some things you have to destroy too. Like, I don't know, I can't remember what level it is.
Because they go into furniture and that's the only way you get them out.
Yeah, exactly. And there's I don't know if you guys, there's a level, there's some like arcade machines and these like pixelated ghosts pop out of it and they'll keep popping out until you destroy the arcade machines. And like, that's awesome. Yeah, that's cool. They're like little flat 2D things flying at you. It's brilliant. I love it.
The chef was hard.
The chef was pretty hard.
The chef was very hard.
I thought the chef was decent.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he wasn't like ridiculous or anything, but like, yeah, he wasn't simple.
He would like, you'd get him, you'd shoot him, and then you get him to the point where you'd fling him around, and then he would go away, and then the bunch of stuff would come up like telekinetic and like shoot at you. And I couldn't figure out, like, I was shooting him with my protons, but I don't know if that was what you're supposed to do or if you're just supposed to dodge or kind of.
I mean,
but it's weird because it's like, yes, you're in third person, but like depending on like which way you look or if you're near a wall, the camera angle did get weird sometimes.
Yeah.
And the fact that regardless of which way you were looking in that chef one especially, things were still flying at you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So you kind of had to look everywhere.
Yeah.
I threw the cake in the fire before he even mentioned it.
You're like, ooh, let's destroy that.
Well, because they showed you like, oh, if there's slime on it, you can move it.
Yeah.
And I just was like,
that's hilarious. Immediate.
He's like, we should destroy something he likes.
Well, you get, I don't know if you guys, I don't know how far you both got, but you start getting different kinds of shots later. So like, I'm not going to remember the names, but you get one that's like a shotgun blast, which is really good for those books because you don't have to aim as precisely. And there's usually like several of them. So you can like hit a bunch of them at once if they're not super far away, which is cool.
But do you hold it? Because like when at least in the tutorial, you have to like hold them and then you have to throw your catcher thing out, right?
No, this is just like damage them. So like the flying pots and pans or whatever, which aren't really like fully possessed, like it'll just destroy those. The other ghosts, it'll harm them, but it doesn't hold them in place. So there's that, and then I just got the slime gun, but I haven't had time to use it yet. So, but you get a slime gun, like the slime in Ghostbusters 2. So yeah, I mean, there's some different things you can get, which is kind of cool. Your scanner eventually lets you access special goggles that let you see stuff. So they'll let you see, sometimes ghosts will lay traps. And you can't disarm them, but you can only see them with the goggles, so you know where not to step.
And then that basically makes it a first person instead of a third person.
But you can't move as fast, so you can't just be like running around first person the whole time easily. And you can also see like kind of like a misty, spooky trail of like where the ghost might have gone that way. So it's kind of neat. It helps you figure out where you need to go a little bit.
I have a question for Hilary. Mm-hmm. What did you think of autosaving? Did it do that in the PSP version? Because it definitely did that in I don't know if
It
you
did
could
not.
save. I don't know if you could save because it was just auto saves.
I had to do this,
PS2.
like, the game called it save states.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
So.
Huh. Yeah, I mean, I
Like
would say save
at
it.
one point so I don't think it had auto saves in the PSP.
Interesting. Like, I did use save states a couple times, but not that much because like when you're in like when you're in a certain, like, we'll say chapter of a game, right? Like you're in the hotel. It's not like you go in the hotel and that is one continuous level until you're done with the hotel. Like you'll do some part of it and then it'll like load and say, oh, here, you did this part, good,
Here's
or
your
whatever.
score.
Yeah, and then it'll go to the next part of that same chapter, I guess. So you're still in the hotel in that case, but it keeps going until you do some other thing that it's waiting for you to do. So it's nice because you do get those save points like that. So I didn't feel like I had to use save states a lot because I'm like, well, even if I get set back, it's not going to be this. I'm not going to lose a ton of progress. So I kind of like that it broke it up nicely. It wasn't these gigantic nonstop levels that you had to get through. I think that'd be a pain in the butt.
I was pleasantly surprised with the graphics,
Yeah.
but that's probably not that hard from the recent games that we had been playing.
Yeah, it has like a pretty cartoony look. It doesn't look like the
Yeah, they weren't
real
trying to
Ghostbusters
make
cartoon.
it look like, but I mean, I could tell who was who.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Like they looked like their person, but they were more cartoony than
Yeah.
like the last one, the wrestling where they wanted them.
They
I would
tried.
have much rather them been cartoony
Yeah.
than what they did.
They should have been cartoony. That would have been so much smarter of them. But anyway, I like that too. I think. Am I? Because I think I talked about this with you. I don't know. Am I remembering that the like Xbox 360 and PS3 ones are more realistic looking? Did you?
Well, you've probably seen the remaster
Oh, maybe.
because the remasters, they look, and it might be part of it, but like when I was trying to watch a video today, I was having a really hard time finding like an actual like original video to watch because like a lot and some of them didn't even say that they're remastered, but as soon as I went in, like I could tell because like I started watching remaster a couple times and it actually said remaster, and then like sometimes they wouldn't say remastered, so maybe they were the 360, but the graphics look just like the remastered. So I'm guessing that what you saw was remastered
Maybe
graphics.
so. Like what's funny is I had it on the 360 and I for life cannot remember what the graphics were like in that. So I have no idea.
Yeah, I mean, and they were different developers, so they could have been slightly different too. So.
Yeah.
How was the as you got later in the game? How were the cutscenes and like talking points and stuff like that? Because they seemed like it was like you were in a movie that got to play a little bit of gameplay.
Well, they were all in German, so no.
I was gonna say,
I mean, they were not infrequent, but they also were not long.
Mhm.
So, in between stages, or worlds, whatever. I need to come up with some terminology that I stick with. But when you go back to the firehouse, like sometimes you have to go and sit through a little conversation thing. But I don't know. Were you bothered by the amount of cutscenes, or I was fine with it? But
I was okay with it. I ended up stopping right before actually fighting the state.
Stay Puft Marshmallow.
Yes, there was like a generator part that like I couldn't get past, and then I had too many other things to do to go back and try and figure it out. So I think I figured out what I need to do, but I also not sure how I can do it.
Assuming it's the same as the PS2 one, which I don't know, because you can hold those generators with your proton beam like you can with a ghost, right? And there'll be like another ghost flying around that has like electricity charging through it, and you have to make that ghost hit that
So
battery or
the
whatever
problem is that like it was the part where you had to move two generators from different rooms.
Yeah.
And so by the time I got the generator that I was having problems with, there wasn't any ghosts around.
Oh.
So I'm like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do.
Oh, I don't know either.
So-
Yeah, I guess. Wow, I wonder. That's interesting. I wonder if that's a way to like soft block yourself. Like if you defeated the ghost first. I had gone under the assumption that maybe you can't actually fight the ghost until you've taken the electricity out of them, but that may not be true. I don't know.
Yeah, I think I got rid of the ghosts, and so then I didn't have a way to charge up the generator. So
okay, the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man fight, like it kind of is in two phases, but the first phase is pretty simple. But they're actually hanging you off the side of a building because he's climbing up it, and that one's kind of tough because he's getting closer and closer, so you have a certain amount of time to do it. But he's like taking chunks of like the wall and flinging them at you, or he's taking like big globs of marshmallow and flinging them at you, and you have to shoot and grab them if they're like the chunks of the wall. And then you have this, like, I forget what they call it, but there's like an extra like shock beam you can throw through your proton pack that does more damage, and use that to throw that piece back down at them. And that's the main way you can hurt them. And that's really hard because you have to be catching those things. And the closer he gets, the less distance those things have to fly.
yeah.
So like you really have to be, you're aiming where his hand is like going, so you can just shoot as soon as it's like on the screen. I almost did not pass that, but I think I got it right before I died. But it was a cool fight though. It was a lot better than the Apple IIe fighting at the Marshmallow Man, which really you just kind of run under his lights because for some reason he's jumping in front of the building. I don't know why. It's really odd. It's not as graphically impressive either. I have to say the Apple IIe one, not at all. But I like the boss battles in this. I think they're pretty neat, the ones I've seen.
Yeah, I think because it was from a movie, and movies that I have seen, the cutscenes and the banter and all that stuff was nice. But I think if I had played like some non-IP game that had that many cutscenes in it, I'd be like,
yeah,
why is there so much?
I'm really curious. It's a bummer that Benny didn't have, I don't know if has he seen Ghostbusters movies at all?
No, he'd be scared probably.
Yeah, probably. I'd be curious what he thought of it because, okay, so when I was a kid, like, man, I was always thinking about blasting things with proton beams. I thought that was awesome. Like, that'd been like a dream come true, and I love the Ghostbusters. So I have a lot of nostalgia just for that whole franchise going into this, and I loved it because I'm like, yeah, this feels like a real, proton beam and all that stuff. I think it's fantastic. I got to fight the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. Great. And I cannot differentiate if I would feel as excited about it if I hadn't watched Ghostbusters and I wasn't a Ghostbusters, or wasn't specifically a Ghostbusters fan.
Right.
Well,
I think he'd like
but
the
Vinny's
game.
played Luigi's Mansion,
Right.
So I think that I think it has enough similarity to it that like it's not like, oh, this is something super weird and bizarre. Like,
Yeah, that's true.
there's enough similarity.
I think you could play this game separate from the IP.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And the fact that it is all voice acted and stuff really immerses you into the thing. And because it's almost movie-like, you don't necessarily need the Ghostbusters background. It definitely enhances the game.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's interesting. Are you familiar with there's like a Haunted Mansion movie?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Was that Eddie Murphy?
Yeah.
The original, and then they made a new one.
Mm-hmm.
So Vinny saw like a preview for the new one. He really wanted to see it. So I took him to see it, and then he immediately scared of like a lot of stuff, and he kept thinking he saw the ghost. And then the couple times that we went to Disneyland, we always go in October, and one of the big ones was to go to the Haunted Mansion, but he never wanted to go to do that. He wants to do scary things, and I think he likes them sometimes. I think he's getting more used to it because now he's playing some like 99 Nights in the Woods, or he plays Doors, I think it's called. And then, for Halloween, he's going to be Huggy Wuggy. Is that familiar?
I might know what that is, but I'm
Yeah.
not sure if I'm thinking of the right thing.
Well, you'll see it.
I mean, I remember when I was a kid
Yeah.
seeing Ghostbusters in the theater, and that first like thing with the librarian when she turns around and gets all like big and scary. I was like, wow.
Yes.
But then I loved it after that.
See, when I was Vinny's age, I was sneaking out to the living room and watching Tales from the Crypt.
Oh yeah.
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 So I mean,
Yeah, they're kind of like, I mean, they have a little bit of scariness to them, but it's, I don't know, it's so like tongue-in-cheek almost in a lot of ways that it's...
yeah. But I guess what I'm getting at is for him to see the Ghostbusters movie might scare him.
Yeah.
Especially like the one with the painting, the number 2.
Right.
Yeah.
But like this video game, I don't think would necessarily
Right. I think the cartooniness probably helps, doesn't it? Like, because everything looks a little less freaky.
Well, that, and then like I think like I feel like this game versus their movies, there's not as many jump scares.
Yeah.
The movies, like I mean, it's not like it's a really spooky, scary movie, but their movies definitely had some jump scares for kids.
Yeah.
Where you're like, because you have like a little bit more control over what you're doing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, even Luigi's Mansion had jump scares.
Well, the nice thing too in the game, like usually, because you're with all the other Ghostbusters, like, oh, there's a big presence here or whatever, so you know something's around. So like whenever it comes, I mean, it really isn't a jump scare anyway, but you're kind of like ready, like, okay, well, the ghost guys are here, so I'm gonna be shooting my blaster soon. So yeah, it's not too bad as far as that goes, at least from what I've seen. There was a level, it didn't sound like maybe you guys got there, where you had to go to the ghost world, and it's right after the library level, and it's weird because it's not very big, and at first you just go through a few like hallways and go through a portal, and what's odd is there's no ghosts in those hallways in the ghost world, and then you go and you just keep going through the hallways till you fight a boss. And I thought that's really weird because it's a ghost world. I thought it was going to be all like, oh, this is going to be so hard now, and there's going to be ghosts everywhere, and nah, it's just the boss, who wasn't super hard or anything, but yeah, that was kind of odd. But it was.
What difficulty did you play it on? I played it on the easiest.
I think I did too, actually. I think.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to get as far through it as I could.
Yeah, same here.
So yeah, I mean, if I up the challenge level, I'm sure it'd be a little harder. So. If I made it harder, I bet you it'd be harder. I don't know.
I'd be curious if they just have like, if they're faster or if they have more life or what.
Because I think their life regenerates over time too. Mm. Like if I got knocked down pretty hard and then nothing hit me for a while, I noticed I was back to full life again.
Yeah, your life regenerates over time, so.
That's nice.
But yeah, I thought the game was really fun. I thought the controls made sense.
Yeah, I do too.
So overall, do we feel like this is a game that holds up?
I think I love it.
Yeah.
I actually am really loving it. I kind of almost bummed that I have to stop. Well, I don't have to stop, but I probably will stop playing so we can do the next game. But I really like it.
Yeah, no, this is a game that I would revisit.
Yeah,
for sure. So
I recommend it. I don't know, because it is very storyline. I doubt that there's much replayability.
Yeah, well, unless you want to just.
I mean, there was some
it.
like. There's obviously some completionist stuff to find. I bet there's some secrets because you do have free roam sometimes. So
the only thing is I don't think I would get, like, if you're talking about getting the actual copy or whatever, I probably wouldn't get the PSP one just because you have to look with the buttons. I think that's
I'd probably get the remastered
or even just one of the others. I don't know if the Wii one's like that. Might be strange. I don't know, but like the PS2 one's fine, I think. So yeah,
the Wii one might be a little easier because you're using the controllers, so you're kind of moving.
Yeah, it could well be. I just don't know anything about it, so I can't really speak on it. But yeah, I could see where it. I think it'd actually be kind of fun. It makes me wonder. I don't think they did, but they should have come out with like a special like controller thing where you snap your Wii remote into like a Proton. I mean, that probably costs a stupid amount of money, but you know, not like they don't do that kind of thing all the time. So, but yeah, I would definitely look for it if you want to add Ghostbusters to your collection.
How much does it cost?
All right. So if you do want the physical PSP one, just the disc or the UMD in this case is $10. If you want it complete, it's only $13. If you want it brand new, it's only $24. So this is like very expensive. But if you want the PS2 one, which I would recommend probably over the PSP one just because of the little looking thing, the disc is actually less. It's $8. Complete is less too. It's $10. But if you want it new, it's a little more. It's $34. I would pay $34 for this game. Easy. Like, I think it's good. So not out of control at all. I didn't check the PS3 and 360 and Wii. So.
It's on Steam.
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
oh,
Ghostbusters The Video Game Remastered, released October 4th, 2019. Publisher Mad Dog Games, developer Saber Interactive. Currently, it has an all-time very positive 90%.
Wow, that's really
good. Of 1,700 reviews on Steam, and recently very positive 87% of the 24 that were recent. It is currently $24.99 on Steam.
Steal. at that price. And since it's on Steam, it'll probably go on sale at some point too.
Yeah.
So, and I imagine, I would imagine you can probably get those on the more recent
graphics?
consoles too.
Whoa.
I know, I was kind of looking at that over your shoulder like, geez, that looks like the movie.
Right.
But even if you don't get one that looks like the movie, I still think it looks pretty good for like the era it's from. It's pretty nice. So get it. If you like Ghostbusters at all, get it. I think it's great. All right. So with that out of the way, should we figure out what we're going to be playing next?
Do we all need to talk? Or
Yeah, I think you should. Yeah, it's good for people to see what they're investing in. So this time we had to... God damn it. Yeah, listen, we slam us on the ground again. We had to pick a system, or we had to pick a game on any handheld system, and it had to be a simulation game. And that's a weird category because that can mean a lot of different things. It could be
every game a simulation.
Well,
game?
yeah, I mean, yeah, I try not to push it too far, but like a flight sim is a simulation. The Sims is a simulation, and they're very, very, very different games. I mean, there's a lot of different things. So, yes, you could say that almost every game is a simulation of something, but when I think of simulation, certain types of games come to mind. That might be different for other people. I don't know. But we have a weird list, I'll tell you that much. So it's going to be interesting. Jesus. Right. I don't know, Hilary.
You start first.
You want me? Okay.
You always go last.
All right, hold on.
Let's see if that's the difference.
Is that it? Okay.
It weights them better.
Yeah, hold on. So my first pick, I picked SimCity 2000 for the Game Boy Advance. I played SimCity 2000 on PC before. I'm curious how they shrunk that down to a Game Boy Advance. I hope it's okay, but like the SimCity on Super Nintendo was good. So I will hope. I don't know. I've got a good feeling that it might be playable and hopefully even good. So that's one of my good picks. My next one is Innocent Life, a futuristic Harvest Moon. So it's Harvest Moon in the future. I don't know. Are you like microchip plants?
Is it actual Harvest Moon?
Yeah.
Oh.
So
Never heard of that one.
Yeah, I don't know much about it other than it's Harvest Moon in the future. So I don't know if you have like hydroponic or I have no idea. There's going to be futuristic elements. Who knows what they are? But it could be interesting.
Have you been saying what they're for?
I don't know, but that one's for PSP. I did say the first one.
Okay.
Then my iffy pick is Wing Commander Prophecy for the Game Boy Advance. And it's iffy for this. Like, I love the Wing Commander games I've played. I played Wing Commander 1 on the Sega CD, and they made like a prettier version of it on the 3DO. I played Wing Commander 3 on the PC and I think the PlayStation, and Wing Commander 4 on the PlayStation. And I like those even on the consoles. But those games were a PC game first. And when you're playing a PC game, you might have a joystick, you might not, but you do have a whole keyboard full of buttons that can be attributed to a lot of different functions that you might have on a spaceship, like directing where your shields are stronger and matching the speed of your the person that you're targeting, or going faster, going slower.
This is the one we're going to get.
Barrel rolling,
Yep.
et cetera, et cetera. And let me tell you, when I played on a 6-button controller, it would be like, okay, like A, B, and C, and X, Y, and Z, they all do their thing, right? But if you wanted to do this, you have to hit A and C. If you want to do this, you have to A and B. This, you have to A, B, and C. And like, I got used to that. Because there's certain functions I'm
I
just
think
like,
we should have veto power.
there's certain functions where like, I don't need to do those things. Now, I don't know what Wing Commander Prophecy is like. That's not, that's like a spinoff, so I don't know if it is less complex in general anyway. What I do know is the Game Boy Advance has fewer buttons than a 6-button controller. So, worried. Fingers crossed that it's still cool, but that's my iffy one, because I just don't know how they do that unless they dramatically change the way it plays, which is fine. But that's a, God, you guys are
That was your iffy pick?
That's my iffy pick, because I don't know how they do it, but fingers crossed. Who wants to go next?
I'll go next.
Okay.
So I tried to pick from 3 different handheld systems, which was pretty tough considering there's not too many handheld systems to choose from. I was really bummed that 3DS isn't retro yet, but I will honorable mention Fantasy Life for the 3DS. If you haven't played that, check that out. It's a lot of fun.
Cool.
It's a life sim, but it has like RPG and other elements to it where you get like, they don't call them job classes, they call them lives, and they all intermingle with each other. You can do woodworking, which you can build like furniture and stuff and get a life with that. But you can, if you do that, you'd have to either buy your own materials or you could be a woodcutter to get your own materials. And then some of those things might need minerals, so you need to be a miner. And then you can be a blacksmith. There's like 3 different combat lives that you can do. So they all intermingle. It's great. And they just came out with a new one for the other systems as well. This year.
I think I've seen, I think I know what you're talking about.
But there was a huge wait on that between the 3DS and this year.
Yeah.
No.
Anyways, my picks.
Wait, let's look up a few other games first. Okay.
But I would have picked that one had it been eligible. Harvest Moon, Friends of Mineral Town for the Game Boy Advance. So there's going to be at least 2 Harvest Moon games. I have played a lot of Harvest Moon on regular consoles and love them. It is a farming simulator. Then I have not played any on handheld, so I'm curious how that'll work out.
Yeah.
I'm sure just the same because it's just it's like the same
It's not
controller.
super complicated
Yeah.
or anything. Yeah.
And my next pick is Animal Crossing Wild World for the DS. I know that the Animal Crossing is huge in sim communities. It's very much a life simulator. I've never played an Animal Crossing before.
Just kidding.
I was playing Pokemon during COVID when everyone was playing Animal Crossing.
Yeah.
So that's what that is. And then, so that's for the DS. And then I went way back, not way back actually, but pretty far back. And I did black bass lure fishing for the Game Boy, which is a fishing simulator. I have played fishing simulators, and I might have played this one because I think I played one I called Black Bass. It might have been for the NES though.
Yeah.
And those were pretty cool because you could like go to different lake locations and fish. It's pretty cozy.
I was gonna look for a fishing game for mine too, but I'm like, there's so many fishing games, and I don't have any idea what any of these are. So I'm like, I will not do that.
I was tempted. There were some like Cabela's
Right.
Yeah.
that were out there, but I thought fishing was interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think fishing, the combination between fishing and Game Boy is going to be my iffy pick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
we'll see.
I feel Harvest Moon and Animal Crossing are pretty solid. Even though Black Bass, that name I think is
Yeah, that's a pretty big like,
name,
for the fishing.
but
Yeah.
not as big as the other two.
Yeah. So when I first thought of handheld simulators, I thought of the Harvest Moon, Animal Crossing, and I also was thinking of a fishing or hunting game. But since you covered those, I went with some other ones.
You can double up.
I know, but there's so many different ones that, like, as I was starting to like look through things, my picks ended up triggering core memories for me. So that's what, for the most part. So that's why I went with these instead. So my first pick is going to be Pokemon Pinball for the Game Boy Color. I actually had this game, and it was very interesting because it had a camera on it, and it also had a rumble pack. So it would actually kind of like simulate the rumbling of a pinball machine for you.
What did the camera do?
I don't remember.
Okay.
But I remember there was I think that's the one that had a camera. I actually still have this game somewhere in, I think, our storage unit.
Could you attach that camera to the Game Boy printer?
Probably.
I think what it should do is snap a picture when you lose your ball, and then print out a thing that has your sad face and the word loser above it. I think that'd be hilarious. If it just trolls you the whole time, that'd be great.
I could be remembering a different game with the camera, but I do remember that it did have a rumble pack attached to it. So it would kind of vibrate, simulating a pinball machine.
And this is for the regular Game Boy?
Game Boy Color.
Game Boy Color.
Yeah.
Basically.
All right.
So my next pick is going to be Cats 2 for the DS. I don't know if people really remember out there, but Nintendo used to during the holiday season would set up these big elaborate displays in malls demoing their games that were coming out for the holiday season. And one year I actually worked one of those booths. And what's interesting about that is that like Nintendo actually doesn't, they basically hire out a company that contracts these positions out and and pretty much runs it. The kind of minor problem with that is that these companies basically like they hire a lot of the same people to run anything. So the probably like 90% of the people that work those booths don't know anything about Nintendo or video games. I was like the one person in our group that knew about Nintendo and knew about the video games and was excited about some of the games that were coming out. So I was like the head ambassador for for our location, and I still have my shirts upstairs.
Nice. I was gonna say, that's when we were married then, right? When you were working there? Or at least dating,
That's
right?
cool. I didn't know that they just put out like for extras or hiring for those type of things. Because I remember I went to one at a mall and I believe it was for Pokemon Black and White. I want to say it was for that. I can't remember. I can remember it was whatever the one, and I'm in a Pokemon outfit, and I apologize to the Pokemon community. There's been so many Pokemons in my life, and I'm old, but it was the one that had Snivy, because I was excited to get the snake grass. I was always a grass type. Ignore this. If they made a Venusaur one, I would have been in it. But but yeah, and I remember it was like all around the mall, and you had to like go on like a scavenger hunt, and you could turn in your stickers for like a keychain or something. That's cool. Yeah. And they just don't do that anymore. But,
so did they have this game at that?
Yes, that was one of the games that we're demoing. So we're demoing that. We're demoing one of the Professor Laytons. We're doing Wii Sports. We were doing, I can't remember what else, but it was like, I remember that we're obviously demoing the DSs and the Wiis. And so I was running the main information booth where I had all the DSs around me, and then the people that didn't really know the games were demoing the one game that they practiced on. And so I was able to kind of answer most of the questions about the DS games. And they had kind of announced that the DS XL was coming out in Japan. And so like the big thing was that like they were like don't talk about that here, because right now we don't know when that's coming out. Like, even though they had already kind of announced that it was coming to us, but they didn't have a release date yet, so they didn't want us talking about it. And then they would have secret shoppers come and check us out, and they were asking me about the XL, and it was hard for me because like they wanted us to basically pretend like we had no idea that was even a thing. And I'm like, but I'm a Nintendo person. Like, obviously, I'm going to know about this. So
you should have been like, it's just called the DS, idiot. It's not an XL, stupid.
Yeah. So I was.
That would have gone great.
I was kind of pretty upfront. I'm like, yeah, like I know that they announced it in Japan, but there's no information about it coming to the States yet. So they did mention that I talked about it, but they're like, no, she was good about not being like, oh yeah, it's coming.
You should wait for this.
You should wait for it. But yeah, so that was one of the games that we're demoing. So when I saw that, I was like, oh yeah. And then the last game on my list is Cookie Mama. It's a really good cooking simulation game. So
sweet.
And that one's also for the DS. So
what's your iffy pick?
It's going to be the Cats 2. Just because I don't know how much they can do with a cat simulation game, so.
Why did you pick? Oh, because you worked it.
Yeah.
You pick cats over dogs.
Yeah.
If it's anything like one of our cats, mine will want very little to do with me. So, that'll be an easy game for me to play. I'll be like, fine, I can play something else, jerk. Like, whatever. We'll see how that goes if we get that. Okay.
While you were telling your story, I did take a quick glance. Snippy was from Black and White.
Okay, we're all cleared up. Oh god. Okay, so with that being said, we do this randomly, but we each put a vote behind a game in order to give it a better chance in the randomizer. So since I went first listing, I don't
even know which one I want to vote for.
I'm gonna vote Okay, at this point, I'm just going to vote for Steve's games until he gets one. That's how it's going to be. So I'm going to vote for Harvest Moon, the whatever it's called.
I've never played an Animal Crossing, so I'm going to vote for Animal Crossing.
All right, cool.
But I'm excited to play Wing Commander when that gets picked.
I hope if it gets picked that it's actually decent. I'm just so...
It won't be.
I hope it's one of the 3 possibilities that it's actually a decent game. We'll see. Now I'm just going to lean into this. Like, yeah, it's going to go to my games. Deal with it. Deal with it. Hilary, what game of mine are you voting for?
I'm going to vote for one of Steve's games as well.
Okay.
And I'm also going to go with Animal Crossing.
Okay, great. You know, the first Animal Crossing, one of the cool things about it is you could get, like, original Nintendo games and play them in your little house. And I was so excited about that. And the only one I ever found was freaking Clue Land. I don't even understand how to play that. I was so mad. I was like, I'll get another one. I never got another one.
This wasn't the original one, was it?
No. But the one
I don't know how far back they go.
I don't know if the Game Boy or whatever one does that too. But the one I had, I was like, God damn it. I wanted something at least kind of decent. And instead I got Clue.
So we know if it's 10, 11, or 12, it'll be one of my games.
That's right.
Yep.
Let's see which one of my games we get. We were totally going to now. I'm just going to... Oh, no, it's not one of mine. I don't remember who's...
But it is one that you picked.
It is, but it is one you voted It's what I voted for. But I could not have voted for it had Steve not picked this. So, the game we're playing is going to be called Fuck You, Steve. In this game, we're going to till the land, woo our neighbors, and rebuild a quiet farm town that could use some love, or maybe just a lot of chickens. We're going to be playing the game from Natsume, published in 2003, called Harvest Moon, Friends of Mineral Town for the Game Boy Advance. Woo, I'm excited. I'm going to have some cabbages, maybe. I don't know. What can you put it? Whatever I can grow.
Tomatoes.
Yeah, so we're going to make a stew.
Berries.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
Now, are these people you were, are they hot anime women? Because that's
No.
apparently my thing. No, it's not.
I don't know. It's weird because
I don't remember.
you look like you're 10.
Oh, yeah.
Harvest
Yeah,
Moon
that's right. You look
person.
like kids. That's kind of weird, creepy.
Yeah.
Huh. All right. Well, that's cool. Okay. We finally got a Steve one in. Now I can go back to myself. Good.
Now I have to do planning.
I actually wanted either your Harvest Moon or my Harvest Moon. And I'm like, well, I'll vote for Steve's just because he needs to get a freaking game at some point because it's driving me nuts. So that's cool. But anyway, would kind of interesting. So, all right. So we know that we're going to be playing that for next week. And let's find out what kind of games we're going to have to bring to choose from the next time. Hilary, do you have the list?
Yes.
Okay.
Retro modern. So Xbox,
Oh.
Xbox 360, PS3, Wii, 3DS.
Wow. So we put the Xbox in there because even though it's kind of more in line with the PlayStation 2, its emulator is not it doesn't have a ton of compatibility, so it's hard to know if we get like a type of game, you know, what we'll actually be able to play on that. So that's why it's in this group when it's, you know, equal to the others. So modern retro, okay, and let's find out what genre we're gonna play. 16. Modern, okay.
Modern games.
It's all modern.
Modern.
So, approximately this time period here that we are in, or, you know, close to it, ish. So, we're going to see. This is going to be, almost without a doubt, the newest game that we played so far, whatever it is. Unless it's an Xbox game, who knows. But, yeah, I'm excited to see what we end up with. It's going to be interesting. Hopefully, we can figure out how to emulate.
Have we done modern before?
We have not.
Yes.
Oh, modern as a, yeah.
As a genre, yes.
Yeah, but not as a type, yeah.
Not as a system.
Yeah, because wasn't Dead or Alive
Yes.
like modern? Yeah, it's PS2 modern. So this is all that other stuff modern. So, well, we'll see what we get. And if worse comes to worse, if we can't figure out a way for all this to get it emulated, then we will have a surprise for you next time. I don't know. Something's going to happen. We'll figure it out. Do you have anything else, guys?
Nope.
Okay, that's it. Clearly, Steve is rigging these randomizers, obviously. So we'll punish him, and we'll see him next time if he's still alive. Okay? Bye.
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 Ray, if someone asks you if you're a god, you say, check out Retro Station, a retro game podcast.